Welcome to tonight's show. Tonight we'll sit down with Christian Lombard, Notre Dame ranked 10th in college football rankings. So what does that mean for national championship hopes? We'll tell you. ND Live starts right now. Welcome back to ND Live. I'm Jac Collinsworth. Joining us tonight, fifth-year senior right tackle, my man, Christian Lombard. Christian, thanks for hanging out with us, brother.
Good to be here, Jack.
You want to know what, man? I'm sorry that you have to be the guy that does the highlights after the first loss.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Florida State, Notre Dame, the shootout of all shootouts. Corey Robinson catches the first touchdown of many. Maybe this play might look a little familiar to you.
Yeah, you know, it's obviously pretty similar to the one at the end of the game, but, you know, easy rollout protection, and Everett and Corey hook up like they always have.
We'll come back to that later on. Jameis Winston reminds us that he has a Heisman Trophy of his own, finding Travis Rudolph. And Jameis had a few issues of his own in this game. Second quarter, Jameis drops, holds. And he's going to find a Notre Dame Fighting Irish linebacker. That's Joe Schmidt. Did he hold this thing too long?
Yeah, and Jerron Jones does a great job here getting penetration and pushing that guard back. And, you know, it's just us capitalizing on his mistake.
And they're going to capitalize again. It's going to be Corey Robinson. He's all right in the red zone.
Yeah, he's not a bad target to throw to. He's got all the length in the world and just a pure playmaker.
But both offenses in this game were hot all night long. Jameis, take us through this play, though. We're going to look at it pre-snap. What did Jameis see?
Yeah, you can see that we're bringing a blitz from the left, and you know, they do a good job of checking out of it, and we unfortunately don't. And you see the middle of the field is wide open, and they capitalize on that.
Here it is, little slant route, Rashad Green touchdown. This game would go all the way to the final drive. You have a chance to win it, 4th and 18. What do you remember about this one?
Just keep blocking my guy, and then, you know, try not to get a holding penalty. But, you know, that's just an unbelievable play by those two guys. They were doing it all night, and just glad to be part of that.
And the infamous touchdown, man. You've had the bye week to think about it. You've seen the tape. What do you think? Good call?
You know what? It could go either way, but the goal is to not, you know, let the game come down to a call like this. You know, you want to put them away a little earlier, but, you know, out of our control.
All right, man. There you have it. 31-27 Florida State. After a loss like that, what's the feeling inside the locker room right now? Do you guys feel like if you win out, that you'll be back in conversation for that playoff spot?
Yeah, definitely. We just have to, you know, take it one game at a time, but obviously we're going to have to win the rest of our games to, you know, remain in that conversation, and we're confident that we'll do that, but we're just taking it one game at a time.
You know, on the offensive line, I've been shook up a couple of times this season. Really the only guy that stayed in his spot is Ronnie Stanley at that left tackle spot. Has that improved so far?
Yeah, we've made strides every week, and, you know, obviously our best game of the year was against Florida State, and, you know, Coach Kelly told us and told the whole offense we set a bar, and you know, we got to live up to those standards and keep improving.
Yeah, the 10th ranking came out. Notre Dame fans all across the country didn't like that one very much. Do you guys even think about it?
No, it's one of those things that it's so early in the year that a lot of things are going to happen with these next games upcoming. So, you know, we really don't pay attention that much.
So this, for you individually, you know, this is your last go around.
Mm-hmm.
How does that change things for you up here?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you think that, you know, you can't really take anything for granted anymore, and you know, you're only going to get some of these opportunities, you know, 5 more times is it. So just not taking things for granted, and, you know, giving everything.
Yep. All right, Christian, thanks for hanging out with us, brother.
Glad to be here, Jack.
Appreciate it, man. Jasmine is out working the field for us. Jasmine, how are you?
Thanks, Jack. I'm doing great. Today I had the amazing opportunity to sit down with one of the people who has the responsibility of keeping Notre Dame Stadium under control on those crazy Notre Dame football games.
Okay, my name is Roger Hibbs, usher with University of Notre Dame for 16 years. Very excited to be able to get to know these people on a one-on-one basis and realize they are truly student athletes, not just people wearing the Golden Dome, but some people who are special and really try to do the right things in the right ways. I'll probably be an usher until they tell me to leave, which could be tomorrow. I don't know.
For ND Live, I'm Jasmine Curry. Back to you in the studio.
Jasmine, thank you. Now we welcome in our college football insider, Rich Heide, into our studio here at ND Live. I mean, there's really one thing on people's minds. We got to take one more look at this Florida State touchdown. I mean, here's the difference. We run the play earlier in the game. This is the very first touchdown of the night. And the difference between the two is you're going to see C.J. Prosise, instead of blocking the entire time at the very end, is going to come off and, just look back at Everett Golson, which is huge. It at least looks like a route. He's tricking him. Will Fuller, up at the top of the screen, is running a vertical route as opposed to slamming straight down on the corner like a block. At the end of the game, both of these guys aren't looking back at Everett, aren't acting like the guy's holding them. There's no action. The refs are going to call that every time.
Well, Jack, I mean, there's been so much talk about this. It's going to continue to swirl around this team throughout the rest of the season. It's a 50-50 call, but the one thing, after that play we just saw, Jimbo Fisher actually alerted the referees that this block was being made by the wide receivers just to look out for it in the future, and then at the end of the game we saw the play run again and the call was made.
Was the pick needed? No. Was the call justified? Probably yes. All right, Rich, we got to start talking about something else here on ND Live. Let's talk about Navy. Where else do we start? We've had a little bit of trouble stopping this triple option attack in the past with Diaco. Van Gorder's an NFL guy. Is he able to stop it?
Well, it's going to be interesting going from the 3-4 to the 4-3, Jack. I think Brian Van Gorder, his MO obviously is to be aggressive, but he's also a guy who's not going to back down from a challenge here. And the Irish, of course, are going to have to try to stick to their assignments, play fundamental football. The triple option, Brian Kelly said this in his press conference, but it can actually neutralize size, speed, and athleticism, something that maybe the Irish have an advantage over Navy in those categories. Talent-wise, this Notre Dame team can match up very well to Navy, but it's tough. You have to stick to your assignments, you have to shed blocks, and you have to make tackles in order to neutralize this Navy triple option.
Absolutely. The 10th ranking came out today, and not a lot of people smiling about that one. Too high, too low, just right, in your opinion?
Well, Jack, personally, I think it's a little bit too low, but Jeff Long, who's actually the chairman of the committee, actually said that Notre Dame fans have a little bit of optimism remaining on their schedule. They have plenty of quality opponents left, of course, looking at Arizona State and USC in the near future. But I think one thing that we all realize is that the committee and pretty much everybody nationwide views the SEC as the most favorable conference in the country. I think that's true collectively. I think they have the depth in the conference, but at the same time, if you look at these teams maybe head-to-head, you have some other conferences that can maybe stack up well in terms of the top teams in these other conferences against those SEC teams. You look at the national championship last year, Florida State obviously able to get a win, Oklahoma able to beat Alabama. So I think some of the tops of these other conferences could compete against the SEC.
All right, bro, there's only one way to get ready for Saturday, and that's taking a look at a Rich Heide package, baby. Here we go.
The clash for the Rip Miller Trophy resumes this week. Two throwback programs will collide for the 88th time on Saturday. Navy and Notre Dame is a linkage built on respect and honor. Both university alma maters will be played after the game's conclusion. The connection goes back deep in time. A long-standing Notre Dame initiative is honoring military service. The Navy even built a training center at Notre Dame during World War II to support the university. Navy's official beginnings date back to 1879. The midshipmen were unscored on in a 1910 undefeated season and also have the 1926 national championship crown. The Irish won 43 straight games in the matchup from 1964 until 2007, when the option attack finally gave Navy the upper hand in triple overtime. Both programs are resurging after rebuilding under gifted coaches. Paul Johnson and Ken Niumatalolo have reached bowl games in 10 of the last 11 years. Brian Kelly is well on his way to leading the Irish to 5 straight seasons with 8+ wins, a feat never before accomplished by the program's head coach. Talented Navy quarterback Keenan Reynolds returns as a junior. He rushed for 3 touchdowns last season against the Irish in a 4-point game and will try to dash those aspirations. However, if the Irish's front seven's run defense, a prominent strength this season, can remain stout, a new winning streak versus Navy can continue to take form.
Rich Heide setting the table as always, brother. Final thoughts. What's the key?
Rush defense against rush offense. It's that simple.
It truly is. That's a wrap on this Navy week of ND Live. Special thanks to Christian for stopping by our set this Saturday night. Notre Dame gets back on that horse and starts the road to the national championship. 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS. For all of us at ND Live, I'm Jac Collinsworth saying happy Halloween. Enjoy the game, everybody.